Gym sessions and sweaty summer activities are back, which means more funky smells in your clothes because sweat leaves behind bacteria that causes those hard-to-remove odors. Clorox fabric sanitizer products are ready to zap the stink out of fabrics in your home by getting rid of 99.9% of odor-causing bacteria. Eliminate odors in every load or sanitize fabrics between washes with one of our fabric sanitizer products. Search fabric sanitizer at Clorox.com to learn more. When it counts, trust Clorox. Use as directed.
Hi, I'm Pete. I'm an IT manager. Today I want to talk about...
Pete, heads up. We've been hacked.
What happened?
My password is my birthday. Well, everyone knows that. February 14th.
Why would everyone...
I don't get how these people figure this stuff out.
I think I do. Have you ever updated it?
Yes. I changed it to Valentine's Day.
Okay, we're protected with Connection Security Services.
You just gotta be more careful, Pete.
Okay, yep.
For hardware, software, support, and empathy. For Pete's sake, connect with Connection.
All right, well, let's get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Public Access in America. I had a simple question, and I brought the crew on to be here. Joining me, as always, is Jeffrey, co-host of Public Access America. Also joining us is host of Adam Has a Beard and manager of Elements Divide, and luckily for us, a public access contributor. So I appreciate y'all being here. I asked you a simple question yesterday or the day before, right? And I wanted to get into it. It was a question that had originated on Inspirations Beyond Disabilities. And so I kind of wanted to continue the conversation. And Adam, I'm going to start with you and just ask you the question, what's a man? What is he supposed to be? What is he supposed to do? What is he supposed to project to his family, friends, and the world,
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
What starts here changes the world. Well, I've got to admit, I kind of like it. What starts here changes the world.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
The average American will meet 10,000 people in their lifetime.
I was handcuffed to another man from another tribe whose language I did not speak.
Don't think, feel.
But if every one of you changed the lives of just 10 people, and each one of those people changed the lives of another 10 people, and another 10...
We did not know each other, and we could not speak to each other because if we could have spoken to each other, we might have been able to figure out what was happening to us.
To every politician who was taking donations from the NRA, shame on you.
I believed them when they said they were sleeping on concrete floors. I believed them. Children being separated from their parents in front of an American flag. I believe them.
And you can change the entire population of the world, 8 billion people.
And if we could have figured out what was happening to us, we might have been able to prevent it.
If you think it's hard to change the lives of 10 people, change their lives forever...
Well, that didn't happen, and here we are.
I believe these women.
You're wrong.
I feel extremely lucky to be here with all of you fighting for justice, for equality, for the right for us to equally exist in this country.
There were 329 uprisings, 157 cities within 4.5 years. And neither Martin nor Fannie had any control over that.
We might be headed to the promised land of speaking the truth and finding our external liberty once we internally liberate ourselves.
But their children were saved, and their children's children. Generations were saved by one decision, one person. But changing the world can happen anywhere, and anyone can do it. So what starts here can indeed change the world. But the question is, what will the world look like after you change it?
Welcome to Public Access America.
Make a stand. I know I did. Thank you very much. And may God bless America. May God bless America. May God bless America.
Dude, it's a kind of a tricky thing, these days, because, most of us grown up with that macho attitude, macho father, macho grandfather. I never had my grandfather around, but that the whole concept of a man is supposed to rule the house, right? Well, I don't think those old schoolers ever thought about the whole process of, man, well, what if, a man is a man. Fuck, now I'm getting confused. Fuck my life. You're all right. I do. It's because it's a confusing thing because you're in one generation, but you're looking back at other generations for examples of what to be, and that's where it all gets so confusing to me, And I just 100%. 100%. That's why I asked it. There is no easy answer to this question, and it just you think there is because it's so simple, right?
It's absolutely not simple, and that's why I'm so damn confused. Because so like you said, most of us are looking backwards. Like my father was super macho, just like try to rule the house.
Right.
Yeah, I imagine my grandfather. He had 13, 14, 15 kids. He was trying to rule the house. But looking back, the man of the house was not my grandfather or my dad. The man of the house is my mom or my grandmother. So, I mean, what makes a man? A man is a man who's supposed to support his old lady, his wife, his partner, and 100% back her while she has his back too. So, I mean, a man is a vessel who is there to teach the next generation the proper way to be, the proper way to act, the proper way to, respectfully cruise through this journey we call life. You know what I mean? Am I wrong? Fuck, probably. Am I right? Probably not. You know what I mean?
There is no right or wrong answer. That's the thing.
Exactly.
To everybody, it's different. I don't want to stereotype you in any way, but you have this great ability because you're here in America. You were born here, but you also know people that grew up and were raised in Mexico. So the perception you have of a man is just so unique in the fact that multicultural men, and that's something I don't have. And so it was important that I found out just kind of from your perspective, because like I said, you are a tug rope of tradition and
Adam's tugging rope
and awareness. That's what he was doing before his camera came on. But what do you think, Jeffrey? Do you agree with Adam?
I do to a certain extent, and I'll provide a little bit more historical context, because one of the things that we have to look at is that the idea and definition of a man has changed so much. And so just kind of going back over the last 500 years of written history alone, going back 2,000 years, you're going to see all of these definitions, what we have today versus what they are now, are very different. So like, for example, like things that defined manhood, some things have stayed the same. Like, for example, military service is one that has very much stayed the same. It's just that now that's not something that is strictly limited to men. Now you have people serving in the military, and I think that's the right course, because I think anybody who's willing to sign up to do that is, well, number one, crazy, and number two, I think that takes a level of dedication that the idea that only men have that level of dedication is stupid. Like, if you're willing to fight and protect other people, like that's your thing. So to me, that's looking at some of these things that have changed. But even if you look at just like the last 200 years, for example, people who were tailors, like tailoring was considered a man's job. And now if you do clothing, like, people start to wonder, are you really a man? Are you gay? What's going on here? Like gay men aren't men, for example. It's a weird thing.
That's kind of where I was hoping this would go at some point, would butt up against the traditional version of what a man is and the other sexual version of what a man should be. So thank you.
Even as recently as 1950, because I've got this, sitting at home with me. Being a barber was a man's job. Being a hairstylist was a woman's job. And you didn't cross those two realms. But now men get weirded out if they have a male barber because a man touching their face is gay.
Is it?
No, it's not fucking gay. It's fucking stupid.
Dude, I tell you what, when Mr. Tyler cut my hair down at the Refined Man, here's a shameless plug for me, Refined Man Barbershop, I did not feel those feelings of like, oh man, there's a man touching me. I felt that, man, I'm getting somebody who's going to shave me up and is going to cut me up right. And see, now most people, I'm not going to say most men or most women, most people are now thinking, that whole spectrum is a beautiful spectrum, but that's just my spectrum. You know what I mean? I can't speak for you, Jeffrey. It's possible that we're aligned on that same spectrum where we don't see we don't see lines. We see colors. We see beauty. We see everything that we need to see. That we actually see, that we're trying to project as a man to teach our children. Hey, this is what you should be seeing. You shouldn't be seeing black, white. That's it. We're trying to see. Look at these palettes of colors. Independence. When I was raising my daughter, I was raising her to be independent woman. Independent, strong woman. You don't need to rely on anybody. You just need to know that your family has your back, that you can always come to your family. And if you ever needed your family would be there. Now, my son, on the other hand, I'm teaching him how to be, hey, one, don't be a fucking pig. Okay. You do not grab the fucking ladies. Do not mistreat ladies. Do not act like a fucking asshole around ladies. You know what I mean? I can't stress that enough, because I see that growing up. I saw that. And now to see my son, who is the kindest, he's the most beautiful kid. He's 8 years old, going to be 9 pretty soon, but he is beautiful. He's kind. He's thoughtful. He's thinking about things like, he's like, man, when he's wrong, I ask him, and he's like, yeah, man, I should have thought about that. I'm like, yes, I'm doing something right, because you know what? He is going to see the palette. He's going to see not only a man barber, he's going to see a woman barber, or he's going to see a barber. How about that? You know what I mean? And that's a beautiful thing. The spectrum is just it's something that will define a man, not just what he does.
But it's a spectrum that a man can slide on, right? Like a man can be sensitive when he needs to be. Like I said, if your wife needs a hug and she needs someone to listen to, then yeah, you know what I mean? You're going to sit there and listen to your wife, and you're going to give her a hug and be Mr. Sensitive. On the other hand, if she needs her tire changed, you're going to get the jack. You're going to pick up you're going to do what needs to be done. And that's what a man should be next man up, and the responsibility shouldn't be gendered. Like laundry shouldn't be a man or a woman thing. Like cutting a tree down shouldn't be a man or a woman thing. It should just be next man up ability, or whether you do it together, or whether you're fighting as a team on different fronts to accomplish something.
Yep. Agreed.
And and really, like, for me, like, the problem with the idea of what is a man is this idea that there's going to be this inherent box that if you fall into this, you're a man, and anything else is not. Right. So for me, like, I've had to really sit down and rethink that, and start thinking about, instead of asking what it is to be a man, what is it to be human instead?
I love how he goes where I want to go. That's what was in my head 2 minutes ago. I was
I'm still primitive, man. I'm very primitive when it comes to Jeffrey. And I'm not ashamed of it either, man. I'm not ashamed of it. Go ahead, Jeffrey. I'm sorry.
No. So the reality is like, for me growing up, like, my father figures were terrible examples. Best example I had was my mom.
Right.
And so I had to learn a lot of lessons from my mom on what to do and what not to do.
Me too.
In fact, like me getting started working on vehicles, it wasn't my dad or my stepdad teaching me. It was my mom teaching me, because my mom worked in her dad's muffler shop. And so learning vehicles started with my mom. The fact of the matter is that, when it came to really learning how to dress animals, it wasn't my dad or my stepdad that taught me. It was actually my mom, who used to clean my dad's animals after he had killed them. Like, the idea that, that all of these lessons should have come from one place and not the other is completely asinine. Where I grew up, and a lot of times, it didn't really matter. You had people running combines, you had people driving trucks, you had people fulfilling various needs, and it's time to stop thinking of this in gendered roles. It's like, what is it that you're good at? What are you going to do? What are you going to teach the next generation?
100%.
Right.
100%.
Because
what's going to make a man is his legacy. What is his legacy? His children. What's his children going to do? How are his children going to act? How are the children going to be? Right. You want those children to be little assholes? Hell no. You know what? A man is defined, and this is why I'm primitive there, Jeffrey. A man is defined by how he teaches his children to act when he goes out and they go out into the world. Mm-hmm. So me being having my father in my life, raised by my mother, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it was completely along the same lines. I mean, every time I needed to learn something, it was my mom. Hey, we're going to Los Angeles. We're going to East LA. We're going to go see your family, your cousins, and talk about life on the trip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And mom was always the one to teach me about this, teach me about that. Shit, now she tells me I make better enchiladas than her. I don't believe it.
Yeah, there's certain things like watching my mom make an apple pie from scratch is by far the most amazing thing that
legendary.
Oh God, and it tastes the same every single time, and it's so good every single time.
Yeah.
I mean, like for me, like going camping, literally starting fires and setting up tents. The only person who ever took me camping was my mom.
Yeah. Yep. So what is a man?
That's the question. Whatever he wants to be. I think that somebody's determined at the end of their life, not in the middle. So you can't tell me I'm good or bad until the vote's in, till I'm dead.
Yep.
And then you can say he was whatever you think I was. But I think that being a good man means being a good human, and that means being comfortable with your decisions throughout your life.
Yep. Full send.
Realistically, for me, like my hope is that I have passed on some good enough lessons to my kids, and that they take the best of what I had to give.
Right.
And they either use it because it still holds up, or they tweak it so that way it's better for the next group. Like
that's awesome.
In the end, like this desire to, like that's this desire to like have your name live on in some way, shape, or form. To me is a fool's errand, because who am I? Who should give a shit who I am? Like, if my legacy is just, enough to where that I taught some great lessons to the people around me that they were able to take and make better, fantastic. Great. If I end up doing something that's really cool that, persists, in society for a while longer, also awesome. But that's not my running goal.
Right.
In the end.
And see, that's where I differ. That's where I disagree. I think my running goal is my legacy of my children. My name, I want my name to live on with my kids. I want my kids to be able to tell stories like I tell stories of my grandfather or my grandfather's grandfather or my great-great-great-grandfather. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These stories, these legacies, but every story, now here's where it gets different, where it kind of aligns with you now, Jeffrey, where every story comes down and it comes down to me. I want my story being told where my name being said, well, you know what? He did how he learned from his father, but he tweaked it to make it better for his children. And my children telling stories, I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? My grandfather was an asshole, but my father, you know what? He did better.
Right.
He did a lot better. He didn't beat my ass. He didn't leave my ass, stranded at high school because I was playing a white boy sport. He didn't like, kick me out of the house for defending his mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's my name, my legacy, is my children. I want my children to be fucking happy. And if they're truly happy, my name lives on. And that's my striving goal. That's my primitive goal as a man that I am, being one, a proud Mexican, two, being proud American, born here in America. I want my name to live on because I want to be I am the first of my generation to be born here in the United States.
Right.
I am the first of my generation to change the narrative on how a man is supposed to be.
Right.
I am the first gen to raise my children way better than I could have been raised. You know what I mean? Not because of the means, not because of the time, not because of the money, but because of my heart. You know what I mean? And that's what I think is the most important as a man, to make my name live on. You know what I mean? So that's where I disagree with you there, Jeffrey. But at the same time, I agree 100%. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
No, it does. And that's the thing is like, even for me, like there is some legacy that has carried on. Like, for example, I talk about William Henry Seward a lot, Abraham Lincoln, Secretary of State, someone who was so upset at the institution of slavery that he literally, threw away his chance at being the next president because he wouldn't tone it back. And he lost to Lincoln, who ultimately would select him to be a Secretary of State. You know, and so there's some things that, you know, my name does carry with it, and those are things that I'm absolutely proud of, and those are things that, you know, I'm going to keep teaching and keep moving forward. But the idea that my name has to carry on is not a thing for me personally.
Yeah.
It's, to me, the lessons that I can teach are far more important than the name, because the lessons are the things that are going to keep moving on, keep progressing forward.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, along those same lines, Jeffrey, let me ask this question to the both of you guys. Do you think ego has a lot to do with what is a man?
Absolutely. No question.
Yeah. Yeah,
See,
it just doesn't seem
I
like
disagree.
none of us have the ego of that. But I think maybe in certain demographics, I think perspective
Okay.
is, I think peer pressure is, though. Like a guy that you know is a man and you're acting different than him and he's judging you because you're not like him, you know?
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with it, the stereotypes. But I don't know. I think we're all pretty confident ego-wise, you know?
I think it depends. It depends on, I mean, ego absolutely is something that drives it, but behind that, what is it that's driving that ego? I think that's actually what you have to strip back to.
Yeah.
You know, because for some people it's clearly about, you know, being personally noticed. Like they have to be like it's them being noticed, it's them being,
Yeah.
any, you know, any sort of positive recognition has to be on them. And then the same token, you'll find that a lot of the same people will take that negative recognition and disperse it to the wind, you know, because their ego can't handle the fact that if they're wrong, and so it has to be somebody else's fault.
Right.
You see, here's where I take my mother's approach onto things, man. My mom worked. Well, my dad was out starting franchises in different states, if you will, different cities, if you will. By franchises, I mean different kids. My mom was working 3 jobs. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And her ego was so, how do I put it, non-existent.
Right.
She worked so hard and got so little credit for 4 little assholes who were growing up, you know, practically in poverty, but we didn't know it. We were fucking happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So take that lesson, knowing goddamn well that my kids won't appreciate what they've got. They won't understand what we went through to get to the point where we're at. They won't understand all the shit that we're, you know, providing for them. You know what I mean? The roof over their head, the clothes on their back, the electricity, the internets, the insert whatever the fuck we got here in the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that by taking that strong mentality and shaping the man that I am today, I think that ego comes into effect a little bit by saying, you know, hey, shit, look at me. I'm proud that I did this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't give a fuck who outside of my circle, inside of my house, notices. And I could give 2 shits. You know what I mean? So that's where my ego comes into play, where it's like, yeah, man, inside my house, yeah, fucking A, man, this is the shit. Outside my house, fuck you. I don't care. You can all kiss my whole assholes. You know what I'm saying? Like to quote Dustin Poirier from last night. But I just don't know, you know? I mean, where are we going to push this narrative? How are we going to teach these kids? You know, I mean, these kids who weren't raised by good parents or one good parent, you know what I mean? To instill that value. Well, how is that going to come into play?
Yeah.
And that's what I worry about the most, you know?
It's just weird that we're looking at media, social media, TV, internet, and we're looking at like what media portrays as a great man or a great, you know, husband or a great dad. And then we go back and we want to emulate that, but we have no real examples of that in real life. Like you said,
100%.
like my dad left when I was 3 and came back dead when I was 17. So I didn't have that role model, but media told me what a man should be. You know what I mean? And I had a limited number of examples from TV to learn from, because every man was like the same Tim Allen type or whatever, you know, like they weren't super sensitive. And then I got to know guys like Adam and Jeffrey, and then it started to change and I started to have real examples of what real men should be like, and I realized that I'm no different than you guys, you know.
Yeah, you're not, man. You're a kind, sensitive son of a bitch, just like me.
Yeah, but we need to stop like pretending that our life is going to be something like the Brady Bunch, like
oh hell no.
that life is.
Oh hell no! I mean, imagine what's his name? What was his name of the Brady Bunch? What was the dad's name?
Yeah, I don't know. What was it?
Will Sasso, Will Ferrell, Mike Wachowski.
Wow, I don't know. I know he was a drunk that beat women, like the original
in
guy.
real life.
So
let me ask you this, man. Let's go into the media circus here.
Yeah.
Growing up, both you guys, I'm gonna ask this question to you guys too. Growing up, who was the role model you seen on TV that you wanted to be like?
Bill Cosby. That's sad.
It is sad. And I know why you said Bill Cosby, because on TV he played this fantastic parent, right?
Great dad. Yeah, just a great
dad. Jeffrey?
None of them. I for me, like, I resented a lot of it simply because, my dad wasn't around and my stepdad was a giant piece of shit. So like, I resented all of it. I hated all of it. I couldn't relate to any of them.
Right.
So like the, for me, like, all I saw on television was lies and bullshit, because that was not anything close to what I grew up with.
Yeah, nothing on TV resembled my life at all.
100%. 100%. For me, it was William Shatner. You know why? He was banging all sorts of red and green ladies. Color was nothing to him. And I was like, man, I want to do that.
Yeah.
But did it represent my life completely? Fuck no, it didn't. It was completely nothing like my life. I mean, nothing like my life. My dad never prepped me for going into public schools. I went into schools blind, not knowing English, not knowing a goddamn lick of English, getting beat up every single fucking day. I was like, damn, this really sucks. Not knowing. And then finally I learned English in the 3rd grade. All these assholes making fun of me while here's Adam because he doesn't speak any English. And I'm like, my first words were, well, fuck you.
Yeah, right.
Principal's office I went, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I learned English over the summer, motherfuckers. To the principal's office. Yes, okay. My dad never prepped me for that.
Right.
All he prepped me for was when I got called, got in trouble for that shit, at school. Man, he picked me up he snatched me up from school, beat my ass when I got home, and right to work I went. And that was my punishment.
Yeah, but didn't bother to tell you how to get through the situation. You know what I mean?
Right. My mom, on the other hand, was like, look, this is what you have to learn. Teach me, and then by teaching me, we can teach the rest of the kids in the family, and we can be better than what your dad is right now. Oh, that's what a man is supposed to be.
Better than what came before him.
Right.
Ooh, I like that.
So it's William Shatner. It's still William Shatner. I see no colors. I see beauty.
I love
you
that.
know what I mean?
But still, you have what you've evolved into what a man, like, for me, being the straight line in a situation while everybody else is going up and down and crazy, remaining steady Eddie in a crisis, to me, is what I want to portray a man to be. Is there something that you do that you want your son to see by example, but you're not telling him, but just something that you want him to know a man is?
Yeah.
A human, a man. You know what I mean?
I want him to see that, by treating other people, by talking to other people, by listening to other people, that you can open up a whole different world as opposed to these closed-minded individuals.
Yeah.
And so when he sees me talking to other people and he sees that they're laughing when they're talking to me, man, why not try to be kind to that person? It doesn't even matter what person it is. I mean, man, woman, doesn't matter what color, because my friends, I have a plethora of friends of all colors and races, and I don't give a shit about color and race. I see heart. I see their soul. I can see their color when you approach them. You know what I mean? You could tell when, for me, for whatever reason, I can come up to somebody and I'm like, ooh, yeah, you're not a very good person, because I could feel it. I could see your color.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not skin color, man. It's your aura. It's how you project yourself. So if my son could see that when I'm talking to somebody and they're having a good time talking to me, that's what I want him to learn. That's the one thing I want him to learn.
Okay. Is there anything, Jeffrey, that you just think you personally want to portray as what you think the future men should be more like?
Yeah, actually, I think being listeners to others' experiences is going to be huge for us moving forward. Because, we've lived in a society dominated where it was our point of view and our point of view alone. And now that we have the ability to hear a vast array of points of view, we're going to learn some things that I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure, and I'm sure Adam's felt this. We learn some things, and you kind of feel a bit attacked. You're like, why you say this, but that I'm not like that. Why would you say it? And then you're like, oh, okay, let's think about this for a little bit. Let's sit down and go, why? Okay, so I may not act like this, but by not calling out certain people who do act like this, I'm perpetuating. Okay, I get it. And being able to be silent, take those lessons and apply them is, I think, for us, the most crucial thing moving forward.
It is super crucial, dude. You know how hard it is for me to be silent, and I got a loud motherfucking mouth too.
Me too.
I hear shit, and I just want to, motherfucker.
I got
First instinct
opinions on everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it takes a man to actually learn to be silent sometimes, right?
Yeah.
How difficult is that for you and me, Jason, Jeffrey? I mean, it's difficult for me. I can tell you that.
It's tough. But you know what? All three of the lessons, all three things that we want to emulate as men aren't male sort of things. Like women and men could both use those life lessons.
Yep.
That's what's so weird and amazing about this wanting to know what a man is and wanting to be more manly. Like, what is it? I mean, if you wear pink panties, are you less of a man? You know what I mean? I don't think so. I think having confidence and owning your decisions and the repercussions of your decisions is being a human. It's what I want everyone to be like. But as a man, I want to do that. I want to own my own shit. What I do, what I say, I did it. I said it.
Yep. Admit when you're wrong, pass that lesson on, learn that lesson, whatever. Take your lashing. Guess what? Yep, I made that mistake. I admit I am wrong.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. I just want to be able to walk into a world where you see a gorgeous woman or a gorgeous man, and you're like, damn, fuck, that's beautiful.
Right.
And I practice that every fucking day. I try to do that. It's like, man, that's a fucking handsome dude right there. Look at that guy. Look at the cheeks on that dude. You don't want to objectify the son of a bitch, but at the same time, you want to be, be confident in yourself. It's like, man, that's handsome dude. What a beautiful woman. You know what I mean? Hey, what beautiful kids. What a beautiful fucking family.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers, man. You know what I mean? We should be able to live in a world where we don't have to, live in fear of being judged, though, which is always going to happen. It's always going to happen.
But what are we being judged for if there's no definition? That's my point.
We're being judged on somebody else's definition, and that's the real answer.
Yeah.
That's the real answer. Everybody has their own definition, and the moment that you fall outside of that box, you're less than. And that's and that's the biggest problem is that while the three of us can sit down and objectively come up with a definition, or in most cases it seems like a lack thereof, it's really it's not a box. It's an open world that has very few rules that we've put on purpose, because when you start limiting what you put into that definition, that's where people want to be able to classify you as an other.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is that what's in that box changes, and it's changed from the 1950s to now. It's changed from the 1800s to now. It's changed from the 1500s to now. It's changed from the 1000s to now. It's changed from 0 AD to now.
It's changed from Jeffrey was 10 to Jeffrey is this age You know what I mean?
100%.
As a person,
100%.
what you thought was a man changed. I know I used to think I needed stubble on my face to be a man, and then I realized that women don't want you kiss you with stubble. So being a man means kissing a woman. I need to get rid of the stubble. Or go like you do, full on, you know what I mean? Soft hair.
That's why I got a beard, because fuck all that.
But I did want to leave that. I was hoping that this conversation would be left open-ended so that people would stop and think to themselves, what do I really think a man is?
Yeah.
You know, like somebody that doesn't um identify one way or another has male attributes and at times could be more manly than me when I'm being sensitive and sweet. You know what I mean? And so that's so weird to me. Like you were talking about service men and women, and I thought to myself, I want to change that term to fighting folks because there's more than just men and women in the army. There's transitioning. And so we need to get past that there's only men and women there, you know, because of that other thing you were talking about.
It's the we have placed these boxes and for reasons unknown, you know, like, and we allow that definition to change. And I'm sure that if you ask the question of what is a woman, that definition has changed multiple times too. What does it mean to actually just be a person? Like if because we're all people,
right?
That's really, you know, what does it mean to be a good person is really the question that we really need to be asking and answering, because
so being a good man or a good woman just simply means being a good person.
Just be a good person, man, woman, the entire spectrum.
Yeah.
Veterinary.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter, man. I mean, if you're able to be nurturing and caring and strong, it's not identified by man or woman at this point, you know what I mean? If you're a great person, a great human, you're nurturing, you're caring, you're supportive, you're loving, you're all these amazing things that used to be narrowed down to a woman or a man. Now it's how are you to be a great human, you know?
Yeah, and that means just taking care of what's next and what's in front of you. Like I said,
100%.
If I'm doing the dishes because my wife cooked dinner and then I'm doing the laundry because she's walking the dog, or I'm changing the sheets and she's getting the blankets out of the dryer, it's just what's next. And if I have to be sweet, and hold a little baby and think it's the cutest thing in the world and smell baby powder, I'll do that. And if I gotta throw fists or something because somebody is disrespecting my friends, I'll do that too. And if one of my gay friends is getting picked on for being gay, I'm going to stand right behind him and claim to be gay. That's what I'm going to do as a man, is take care of what's next on the list to be taken care of.
You know, and I would just, you know, I would even say, don't claim to be gay. Just be like, why is it a fucking problem?
Why is it a problem? Exactly.
It's not. It's
not
a problem.
Why stand behind him? Why not beside him?
Beside him. Behind him, wherever it needs. Depends on his size, I guess.
I'm standing right next to my friend. I don't give a shit, you know?
That's like, my point, yeah. Is that
you're going to war?
My friend might need to grab me and hold me back because I might be the one going in swinging first.
You might be the guy eating that person after you swing on him too, so I better hold you back, bro.
That's my point. I am fully going to support people. And that's friends and strangers. You know, I've gotten out of the car to help people push their cars out of the snow. I've helped people get their groceries when they spilled them. It's just doing what's next as a human. And I like that.
And it just goes back to that whole, you know, it goes to the whole discussion of, you know, what rights do we have and what rights have been taken away from others. The answer is that the three of us here know that we have a lot of rights that other people don't have. And we've got to be the ones that say, you know what, just because these people should have these rights, that doesn't mean that the three of us have less rights.
Right.
You know,
I agree.
You know, while there are people that are going to be out there, you know, on the front lines fighting it, it's our job to support in the ways that we are asked of.
Yeah. And I think it's our role to make people stop and think about these things they think are obvious. Like, what is a man? Suddenly somebody's walking around like, wow, what is a man? And I like the idea of that. I hope we changed a mind just by getting somebody to think about a question they never would have thought of.
Right. I agree.
And I'm so happy to have you all here to do that. You know what I mean?
A lot of fun.
I'm the primitive guy. Jeffrey's the brain. I fucking love it.
No, I was telling Jeffrey, I was like, the thing is that Jeffrey and I are a lot like the right side of the brain, but Devi and you're the left side of the brain, and it just feels unbalanced without having representation from one of you here. Because Adam Has a Beard is big on mental health. It's big on men being sensitive, being real. It's about people connecting. It's about all of those emotional things that go into it. Not a bill, not a policy, but why people feel the way they do. And that's why it's important to have Adam Has a Beard in the network, you know?
I love being part of this network. I do. I really, truly do. I see people like, I have a friend by the name of Danica who is hardcore feminist. Now, being a hardcore feminist doesn't mean necessarily that she hates anybody. It just means that she believes in a certain set of rules that are or guidelines that I happen to side with. And I'm like, well, shit, why can't a woman not have to be, catcalled all the time? Or why can't, hey, if you're going to slide into this girl's DMs, why can't you say that publicly?
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, so I side with her 100%. And so, like, for me, for Ahab, for who is now run by Sean, took a job, so we'll see you later, Sean. But now that I'm on there 100%, I'm still trying to strive to be a better co-host or be a better host, and being broader messages and more attention to the focus of these things like feminism, people transitioning, people, people's mental health, people learning, people growing. I mean, I strongly believe in that. You believed in that when I came to you with like, hey man, I got an idea for a podcast. You're like, let's do it.
And then I stayed out of the way and let you evolve it the way you wanted,
And you just did that. And so I think that by having, believing in that mental health and believing in the mental growth and believing in and loving everybody for who they are. And I say it till I'm blue in the fucking face, man. Everybody love everybody, and I fucking mean it. Because there's no room for hatred. There's no room. I don't give a shit what color they are. I don't give a shit what gender they are, what the pronouns they use. If you're a kind fucking human, you have me as an ally. And it's when you turn shitty, and I'm gonna fuck you up.
Like, you think about it, it takes so much energy just to be a dickhead to people.
Yeah, it does.
I'm all about do the lazy thing and just be good to everybody.
Yes, I just move on so fast. Like I was saying, I think in the first hour, when somebody shows me they're an asshole, I say thank you and move on. I just don't want it to be 20 years after we meet,
Right.
100% I agree with you, man. I mean, how many times have I had that done? Like, oh shit, man, I've known you all my life. Oh, you're an asshole. Damn. Fuck. I grew up and you didn't. Ah, damn it.
Like the only hard thing about being a good person is when you learn a new lesson and implementing it. Really, that should be the hardest part about it. And trust me, I've had to take some time to learn some things, especially lately. And you know what? You end up being the better person for it, because then it's like, well, why was I that way to begin with? What work was I putting in order to maintain this?
Yeah, that's it. So I had a friend that showed me that I assumed every woman I saw had something that I was entitled to. And I didn't realize it until I met her. Then I was just like, well, what am I going to get from her? And she was constantly saying, you're not entitled to anything here. And I would be like, thank you. And we'd go out and I'd look at a girl and she'd be like, you're not entitled to anything she has to offer either. And I was like, thank you. And I humbled me, man, because you look at a woman in the store and you're like, ooh, I want to get to know her. And you're like, hi, can we go out and date and have sex? And she's like, no. And you're like, well, how about if I just get your number? And she's like, no. And you're like, how about whatever's next? Until she gives you something, right? You're not entitled to anything. Like, you're invading her space just simply by 100%. Going over there. Now, if you look at her and she looks at you and you decide to connect, that's a different story. You know what I mean? But I'm not entitled to anything that anybody else on the planet has to offer.
Yeah, I love, my favorite thing to do is like when I go out, it doesn't matter where I go out, you know what I mean? I like to see people. Yeah. Fuck, you know what I mean? You
like to see
how,
people fuck?
Yeah.
You go out.
People fuck. Yeah. I like to see people. Sometimes they get themselves ready. Sometimes they just get out and they're out. You know what I mean? And just to see their true natural beauty, or to see them, what they took the time to put on their makeup. That's a lot of fucking effort to put on makeup.
Yeah.
For them to, but they're not specifically asking for anybody's attention. They're just saying, man, fuck, I feel confident today. I put on makeup. I did my fucking face. I did my hair, whatever the fuck that is they did. And it makes them look beautiful. Hey, how about this? Man, how about this? Admire from a distance. Look at them. Oh, fuck, that's beautiful. Move on. You know what I mean? Don't dwell on the fucking looking at her cheeks.
That's right.
I mean, I try my hardest to not be that primitive caveman, because I don't believe that I want my daughter to go out and taking the time to do her makeup the way she does, and her hair the way she does. I don't want some fucking asshole be like, oh man, fuck, And I'm not saying that you're an asshole, Jason, by any means.
No, it's who I was. I evolved because of a strong woman like Jeffrey has. I was just thinking about how lucky he has to have Devi, to where every time he comes up to a questionable barrier, they're there to kind of say,
I love that.
No.
I love that.
Like, I have a friend, Lexi, and she's super patient with me. And sometimes I'm kind of caveman-y about it. And then I come back and I explain, like, all right, I thought it through. You're right, and she gives me this total space to do that.
Man,
it's as long as I'm
amazing.
evolving, then I get the politeness. If I'm not evolving, though, these women that I've brought into my life, these strong women, they will drop me in a heartbeat, because I'm not
100%.
evolving, because I'm not learning my lessons.
Right. Yeah, that's a good thing, man. I'm glad that we're all evolving and aware. That's the big thing too. Is, are we aware?
Right.
And that's one of the biggest challenges is that, man, it's easy to sit down and keep doing some things that you've been doing for your entire life, and then finally you get called out onto the carpet, and then it's like, now you're aware of it. What are you going to do about it?
What are you
like?
Are you
actually going to learn your lesson? Are you actually going to make changes?
Yeah.
Or are you going to choose the path of willful ignorance and I'll be an asshole?
Yeah.
But I always say ignorance is a lack of knowing. Stupidity is knowing but still remaining the same. You know what I mean? So I don't mind ignorant people. I hate stupid people, because once you know
100%.
decided to be an asshole, that's different.
Absolutely.
And that goes for anybody, anywhere. But I want to say what Adam was saying is so true, because one of the most beautiful things on the planet is a perfectly happy person.
100%.
Not worried, not feeling like not safe. Somebody that's just happy and just babbling and laughing and just spilling things. I love people that are happy.
Yeah, I love it. One of my favorite people to go see is Mixed Debbie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I go in there, we sit there, we laugh, right?
Yeah.
And she's happy. I mean, I go in there, sure, to get my haircut, but man, I'm seeing a friend. You know what I mean? And
right.
And it's amazing, because I know that when I'm in there getting my haircut, I'm gonna fucking laugh for a good 35, 45 minutes, wherever long my hair. And not only am I laughing, when I'm done laughing, I'm leaving, my fucking face is like, fuck, she fucking killed me. I'm fucking dying. My face is not fucking right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I've been laughing for 45 fucking minutes.
They're the best.
The other person I like talking to is like, it's Jeffrey. Fuck, man. I said, how many messages do you send me back and forth? You send me pictures, and I'm fucking dying. But I know what? My boy is happy, and he sent me messages, and it makes me fucking happy. It makes me laugh. If I talk to Jason, I learned something, and I'm always fucking laughing. We're like, he's like, like yesterday, you sent me messages. Hey, bro, this is that. I'm like, fuck, dude, this would be my honor to come fucking be on your show, dude. Hell yes. You know what I mean? So being around happy people, man, it's a fucking good thing. You know what I mean? It's a great thing. And I think people don't realize that your mental health is really greatly affected by the people that you surround yourself with.
Right.
Oh, huge.
So that's a big factor too. Mental health is strong with these two right here. These two, 1, 2, you know what I'm saying? Mental health is a very aware thing. Be cognizant of what you bring into your circle, because it'll ultimately kill you.
And that's the thing, is like mental health is a lot of work, and you have to be willing to put in that work. And you can make excuses as long as you want, but it's on you ultimately to take care of your own mental health. Or, you might end up getting, the boot in the ass that you didn't know you needed.
Right.
And it's going to sting a little bit until you start doing the work.
Exactly.
And you got to be aware of your mental health affecting other people's mental health. And other people have to be aware that other people's mental health is affecting their mental health. Sometimes it's your life lesson to learn, and other times you're just support for other people learning their life lesson. And don't get in their way. Don't prevent them from learning something, but also don't allow somebody to prevent you from learning as well.
That mental health aspect of knowing your own limits. That's something that I've had to work on teaching, my kids, because you being a kind person and wanting to help everybody, you still have to know your own limits before it starts affecting your own mental health negatively. And that's
100%.
hard.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to do.
Yep. And how many times are you saving other people, but forget to save yourself?
Yes. Yeah. Somebody told me they write a list every day of the things they're grateful for. And I asked her, how often are you on the list? And she was,
damn.
Ooh. Oh.
Damn.
Somebody said, I'm tired of being a backup plan to other people. And I was like, then put yourself first, because you're the one that matters. It's these simple little things that people don't realize. I believe that if I can make a decision that lifts 2 people up or more, then it's a decision worth making, right?
Yep.
But if it's something that only affects me, I'll do whatever I want. But I'm gonna try and make the right decision when it affects Adam or Jeffrey. So here's the question then. I'm gonna go with Jeffrey first because I surprised Adam initially. What's a great manly movie? I know, because he did the Expendables last week, so he can't say it again this week.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, right.
Well, I got a good one. If you ask me.
Oh, yeah, you're next.
Go put Adam on the spot for this one. It's gonna take me a minute to think about this one.
So Adam, what's a manly movie?
Hate me if you want, dude. Good manly movie. The Notebook.
Oh, okay.
Tell me I'm fucking wrong, man. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. The man lived out his days loving one fucking woman. Woman.
That movie makes my father-in-law cry. He's like a 80-year-old Filipino guy. Loves The Notebook. Makes you watch it when you go over there and cries all the way through it.
Yep. Let me tell you, that movie affected me pretty intense.
Nice.
Yep. Pretty fucking manly. Fight me.
That's a good one. That is actually a really good one.
Yeah.
Fight me. 1600 Pennsylvania Ave. Knock on the front door. Tell me here to fight me. Go ahead.
The Notebook. The manly
Notebook
movie ever. Okay.
Let's see here. Manly sweet. I'm gonna have to go with, and y'all gonna have to fight me on this one.
Give me your address. Text me to me. You haven't even said it yet.
Tremors.
I'm on my way. Oh, fucking, where are my keys? Where are my fucking keys? Get my fucking keys. I'm fucking fighting somebody. Fucking socks, dildo. What the fuck? I can't find my keys. God,
you're gonna show up with a dildo and a
sock? Fucking in a sock, bro.
Why tremors?
Why tremors?
Why tremors? Well, you think about it. You're up against an unknown, and everybody gets involved in trying to fight this unknown thing. I mean, let's be realistic. You've got Kevin Bacon, the height of Kevin Bacon. You've got this unknown. You've got this unknown alien. Supposedly alien, but Precambrian life form that's eating people. And everybody gets involved in trying to get to safety. I mean, Reba McEntire was in that movie, and she's shooting some big ass fucking guns.
It's because she's a woman, dude. She's a fucking tank, is what she is.
Reba, if you're ever in Florida, you come and visit me.
Reba, if you're ever in Washington, come visit me and Jeffrey.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Tremors because, let's be realistic, that movie was just absolutely over the top absurd. Guns, explosions, people trying to fight the unknown together.
I'm still saying The Notebook.
Okay. The Notebook?
The Notebook.
The Notebook.
Initially, I thought to myself, Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs.
Mr. White and Mr. Pink and Mr. Yellow and Mr. Brown. And I loved it. It was just such a manly sort of movie. But now I'm thinking Howard the Duck because it's the biggest laughing stock I could think of. And maybe that's a better thing for what is a man. Howard the Duck, maybe better.
And see, that's what I'm saying with it. What is a man? You know, The Notebook. The Notebook, bro.
Nice. I like this.
Howard the Duck.
Howard. Yeah. He made an appearance in the Marvel Universe.
Such a weird fucking movie.
Fantastic movie, though. You know?
Oh, my God. What next? Alf?
Alf.
Damn.
No, I did like Alf, though.
Hi, Joe Kids. Hi, Joe Cats.
Coming next on Public Access America, what makes a pet? What makes what makes a child? No.
What makes a pet? Well, you see, if you put a collar around their neck and then put a chain. Wait, hold on.
Wait a minute.
That also makes a great submissive. You know what I mean?
Oh shit, dude! Hell yeah!
I have non-pet collars in my totes in my room.
Ew.
Love it. So everybody, don't forget to listen to or go check out Inspirations Beyond Disabilities. That was a great conversation that also involved what it means to be a man. Go check out Adam Has a Beard because I listened to every episode, even though you changed streams, motherfucker. You know what I mean? So I had to go and search for you again. But Adam Has a Beard has a new stream, so go look it up. And you'll find it.
Mm-hmm.
But go find it.
We'll talk about that later because I need help. I don't know what the fuck happened.
You're doing just fine. You're doing just fine. Adam Has a Beard. Yours is the only feed anybody's ever going to find. But then come back and listen to Public Access America. It's this great thing involving a whole bunch of really good people having real conversations about real situations. And the more perspectives we involve in this, the more solutions we're going to come up that benefit more people. You know?
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
And
thanks for having me on the show, man. Thanks to you for including this little caveman over here to you guys' show. I love the fact that every time I listen to you guys, I learn a different perspective. I learn something different. I learn something new. I learn something way more technical than I could even think of. You know what I mean? And
me too.
I love you guys for that, man. You guys are fucking brilliant.
Me too. One day Jeffrey's like, I'm just going to put Devi on because I don't feel qualified for this conversation. And I was like, then why am I the idiot that has to stay? You know, I'm not qualified either.
Surprise, motherfucker. You're going to get owned.
Yeah. But here's my secret. I fall in love with people that teach me lessons like that.
Yes.
That put me in my place. Because the worst thing as a man is to be all gloating and boastful and find out that people are laughing at you because you're so wrong. I want to stay humble because when people say, that's amazing, I want to be like, thanks. You know what I mean?
Yes, be humble and thanks. Thank you very much.
Be humble and thankful. Thank you for listening to Public Access America.
To those who would tear the world down, we will defeat you. This is our moment. This is our time. To those who seek peace and security, we support you. Yes, we can. And to all those who have wondered if America's beacon still burns as bright, tonight we prove once more that the true strength of our nation comes not from the might of our arms or the scale of our wealth, but from the enduring power of our ideals, democracy, liberty, opportunity, and unyielding hope.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbow. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life.
Ask not.
Yes, we can.
What your country can do for you.
I have a dream.
Ask what you can do for your country.
I, poor little children,
yes, we can.
One day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression.
In this lifetime, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody except yourself.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Welcome to Public Access America.
Yes, we can.
Sunday live streams on YouTube.
I wanted to run out of that tunnel for my dad.
on Twitter,
What?
Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Smart Radio Public, and Spotify.
Yes, we can.
Public Access America. History in the making. Making history in the making.
You know how fast the world of gaming moves, so don't get left behind. Tune into the GMR Zone podcast for the latest on crypto-powered gaming. Listen wherever you get your podcasts and learn more at gmr.finance. Hi, I'm Pete. I'm an IT manager / superhero.
Pete, bad news.
What happened?
I put a very expensive latte on top of my car, drove off, and it spilled. It's bad.
How's that my problem?
Oh, my laptop was up there too.
Okay, that's why we use connection services to manage our cloud. Everything's backed up. I can access your stuff remotely. You won't miss a meeting.
I really wanted that latte, Pete.
For hardware, software, support, and empathy. For Pete's sake, connect with Connection.